Hey, what's up, guys and gals? My name is Ricknineg. Voice issues today. Hopefully, you're doing okay on this lovely, lovely Sunday. Let's talk a little bit of I Love Lucy. I don't have much time with you today, unfortunately, because I am heading out right after this live stream. But we're going to do one episode, or at least take a look at one episode, and that is going to be The Benefit. I already have it queued up here. The Benefit is a good one because it shows a lot of great things with a very minimum amount of space in terms of the show. It doesn't really use huge scenes. It uses just the apartment scene and then another scene, which is like a little stage and so forth. It's not really the actual club itself, but that's pretty cool. If you have just joined in, welcome to every single one of you. I would encourage you to go look here in the chat and type something. Say hello if you've never said anything, whether you're on their phone. I know some people are on their TV and they see my mug on the TV, and that's kind of funny. But I appreciate you being here. Thank you for giving a thumbs up and a great boost to the channel. So let's talk a little bit about The Benefit. Season 1 episode, of course. Still in season 1. And I say that in a happy way. I'm not like, we're still in season 1. I'm like, yeah, we're still in season 1. Benefit. That's a January 1st, 1952. This is the first episode that airs in 1952. So that's a nice little fact there. Episode 13, unlucky number 13, or maybe lucky, because it was a good episode in my opinion. Filmed on Friday, November 30th, 1951. So almost at the end of the year. Played almost, a little less than 2 months after it was filmed and recorded. Rating share, 51.6. This one got a huge boost. Again, I would say that was probably from the last couple episodes. But yeah, is this the highest rating ever on I Love Lucy as of now? Yes. So this episode, The Benefit, had the highest rating of any I Love Lucy episode before it. So this is the highest of the 13. That's pretty cool. Music, Shine On Harvest Moon. Of course, Ach wie das denn, my dear. And we'll build a bungalow. That's probably not the tune. Oh, it is. Yeah. Underneath the bamboo tree. Okay. Yes. So I want to say hi to everyone in the chat. Let me turn on the episode. Oh, there we go. Nice little intro. Hello to everyone. Fun Fuji, are you here for the first time? The first person to say hello in the chat. Nice to you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to those who are on the West Coast, and good afternoon to everyone else who's watching me. Basically, if you're on the West Coast or anywhere to the west, yes, it is morning. If you are on East Coast, or not even on the East Coast, if you're like, I guess, in Vegas and Texas and so forth, at least when this is live, then it is afternoon, of course. Awesome. Oh, there we go. Yusef plays. Gotcha. I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, trained supporter. You're recovering from surgery. Everyone, send your positive thoughts, well wishes in the chat to trained supporter who's recovering from surgery. That's what we do here. This is what's important. Although these shows are great and awesome, I think what makes this channel strong, in my opinion, it goes beyond me, is that we're a community, and that's all because of you. I can't be a community myself, right? It's all about you guys and you coming together. So help another Lucy fan and say, get well soon and congratulations. These are all from you, all for you, trained supporters. So we want you to recover and be here on the live chats and enjoy yourself. But at least hopefully this can, have us talking some Lucy and, have you forget a little bit from all the stress and anxiety. Hello, James. Nice to see you again. And Ron. Rick. Peter Lorre from Casablanca. Could you believe I've never seen that movie? I should really see it. I'm like a movie guy. And like, I know these movies are amazing, but I've just never gotten to it, But yeah, I will get to them. We love Lucy, we love Ethel, and we love Ricknineg. Well, thank you. That's awesome, Robert. Very, very sweet compliment. And you see here Desi smoking. Ethel's on the piano. I almost thought like Desi had 2 cigarettes at once. No, he has 1. And they are singing. Fred is twirling around at the wee hours of the night. Randy from Connecticut, as Ricky would say, from mid-Georgia. I like that, mid-Georgia. Where is mid-Georgia? Is that like an actual term that you guys use over there? Hello, Rick and everybody. Hope you're doing well, trained supporter. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Jared, for supporting. each other, people in the community. So that is awesome. Awesome. The town of Milner. Leslie Poole, nice to see you. And I love this. They have Ricky, Ethel's on the piano, and Fred singing. Of course, Lucy is not in tune at all, singing horribly. It's almost like there's a team power dynamic there. And I kind of like that because it was almost like Lucy was powerful enough on her own to stand on her own. And then not that Desi wasn't, but it's like they need the three of them to round out like a Lucy, if that makes sense, because they're going back and forth with how they sing and so forth. And so, yeah. Did Nielsen do the ratings that many years ago? They did, Ron. Great question. They did it all the way back to, I'm pretty sure, not the pilot, because remember, the pilot is only shown to like execs and so forth to see if they would like the show. At least back then, it was something they can kind of show. It wasn't really aired in the same way the others were. But yeah, going back to the first ever episode that aired, 38.7. And this is a 51. That is crazy. That means, was it 51 or 50? Yeah, 51. That means more than half of all televisions were watching I Love Lucy at that time. Isn't that crazy? Think about that. Every single TV in the United States, take half, pick two at random, one would be watching I Love Lucy. I know there were a few channels, but again, it was one of those things where you could choose not to watch. So think about how powerful those ratings are. Okay. You were kind of let down by the I Love Lucy movie. How come, Arthur? Were we expecting like something different? Were we expecting like new content? Is that why? Or just let me know why. Fort Worth, Texas. Awesome. Do you know anyone that was in Nielsen family? Nope. Hi from the UK, Mickey. Nice to see you. I've seen Mickey in a lot of chats, and Mickey is a supporter way across the pond in the UK. I mean, think about the distance. What is it, 9-10 hour difference? That's incredible. It's dark for you, and barely the day starting for us. It's not even noon here, so that is crazy, and I appreciate you tuning in from so far away. We're only going to unfortunately do, as I said, one episode, but that's okay. Let's think about the positive. Let's think about the time we do have together. Think about Lucy and Ethel and the gang, and yeah, enjoy ourselves. Robert, great point in terms of Jess Oppenheimer. I know some of you are really big into the show and maybe don't know a lot about the behind the scenes, or some of you may know a little bit and so forth. But for those of you who don't know, Jess Oppenheimer was the brain behind I Love Lucy. Because sometimes we see these shows, and of course, rightly so, we praise the actors for them and supporting actors. But we have to understand there's about 100 people who pretty much every day of the time where they were working, they'd be on set and working, whether it was a writer, whether it was a musician, whether it was a cameraman, camera operator, all that stuff, to make this show. And so it's important to think about that. Jess Oppenheimer created a lot of the dialogue. He created a lot of the funny situations. And so, I mean, he's do a lot. And again, I think it's a team effort. It's a team effort. You can't discount anyone. You can't, because obviously he wasn't the actor. The actors, they need good actors to have the good dialogue. And so that's why it was a group effort. It's almost like for soccer, the World Cup's going on, and the best team, for example, Germany, we see that Germany isn't doing that well before, and they were the world champions. Well, that's because a lot of the players left. And so the idea is same thing. I Love Lucy. You can have Lucille Ball and so forth. She's great. But once you start losing some of the writers, some of the talented people that are doing the behind the scenes stuff, you'll notice a difference in the show, and that's why. So anyway, I'm glad you brought that up. Good morning, Charles. Nice to see you. Awesome. You were a Nielsen family back in 1970s. Pretty cool. Great writing, great cast, Robin. Absolutely true. I've never seen you in the chat before. Welcome. Nice to see you. Mickey, oh, you're right, because yes, you're 10 hours ahead, but you're on very northern, right? So it takes a lot longer for the sun to go down, right, than us, who are a lot lower. It won't be dark for another 3 hours. That's pretty awesome. That's awesome. Kippy Boo, you're also from across the pond, right? Right. Am I mistaken? And I love this. I like the Ricardos, seeing them in their bedroom. Like right now, Lucy is sitting at her, it's, I guess, like makeup or with all her creams and hair tonics and her mirror. And then behind you see the New York skyline. And I think that's pretty cool because obviously you don't know they're there, but you get the ambiance, you get the feel that you're with them nice and cozy in their bedroom. And so it's really nice to see that. And then you see them talk about these things that were intimate at the time. And I don't mean intimate in a bad way, intimate where it's like, Lucy, you can't be on the show and let's talk about it later. And then the Mertzes leave and then Lucy's whining about it. Lucy wouldn't be whining like that in front of people. It's obviously in front of her husband to get him to put her on the show. So it's, cool things to think about. There we go, vanity mirror. See, I am so technical with my terms. See, ever since I was a little boy, it was one of those things where the way I like to communicate with people is very simply. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being technical or simple. And even when I taught, I think my brain was always wired to make things simple. Like instead of, like you said, a vanity mirror, you're absolutely correct. That's what it's called. But my brain would always revert to what's the simple term and the quick term, which is mirror. And so it was funny because in some other things I was very technical. But yeah, I noticed that a lot in me, that I'll go for the simplified version versus the complex. Not that I don't like the complex, but yeah. So that explains a little bit about my brain and how it works. Yeah, Ron, it's a great question here. Ron asks, what seasons was there a change of writers, and can you cite particular episodes that things changed? Yeah, so definitely for season 6, we no longer had Jess Oppenheimer, who was pretty much the creative force throughout all 5 seasons. Once we get to 6, then that changes. We have Desi Arnaz, who's elevated as the new executive producer, kind of taking his place. Even though Desi was already in a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, he kind of solely took position, if that makes sense. And they added 2 more writers, Bob Schiller and Bob Weisskopf, both named Bob. Because Madeline Pugh and Bob Carroll Jr. were at the point, not exactly at season 6, but they were starting to say that they felt a little bit, their sponge was dry, their brain was just, think about how many episodes. We're talking about at least 100 episodes, 100 different plots. It's like right now, if I say, okay, come up with a couple funny plots, you may make 10 or 5, but imagine making 100. And then being asked to make like 10 or 15 more. We're just like, okay, now I'm at the point where I'm just picking at straws. Like, what else can I do? So they needed new creative forces. And some people said that season 6 was very different because of that. So I wasn't too detailed with exact episodes, but that gives you a rough idea. And there were other people left and so forth. Sarge, 5 Sarge. Sarge? Desilu Studios produced a plethora of shows. You're absolutely correct. They had, 4 studios total, 4 Desilu Studios in 4 different locations across Los Angeles. So that's pretty cool. Starting the Star Trek franchise. Yep. And I made a whole video on that. Star Trek, Star Wars, all being due to Lucille Ball. The Untouchables, Mission Impossible. I went to the theater on Friday and I saw Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom. They had a preview for Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise. Okay, that comes from I Love Lucy, not I Love Lucy, but Lucille Ball. She okayed that show. The Andy Griffith Show. We have the Batman series from the 60s. You guys know what that is, right? A lot of you being fans of these older classic shows, right? Old Batman series. A lot of it was filmed on Desilu lots. Very important. Twilight Zone had, I think, a couple episodes filmed there, or a good amount of them, I'm not sure. But definitely they had a presence in Desilu. And I can keep going. These are the shows that I know about that I watch very regularly. Now, I Dream of Jeannie was a show shot in the 60s, right? And so that wasn't technically in Desilu because at that time I believe it was changing hands, but it was in the Gower. It was once a Desilu studio. So to give you an idea of like just how crazy that is, Married with Children, Sunset Gower lot today. Same, it was once Desilu. So you can even argue that Ricky and Desi kept these studios going and made them a medium for TV, and that still continues today. If you haven't given the video a big thumbs up, I would appreciate it. It does help out. It's like a way to I don't know, just show support for the channel in a great free way. It takes very little effort. You just go boop and you watch the numbers go up. It's kind of fun to see. And there we go. See someone else just liked the video. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. So Ronald, do you think season 6 was as strong as the first couple seasons, 1 and 2? Let me know. I don't think there's a right answer for that. I just want to know your thoughts on that. That's why I ask you guys these things. I want to get opinions. I want to get different answers and new insights into things. And the only way to do that is to ask all these great questions. Okay, Arthur has a great question. Do you think if Lucy and Desi never got divorced, they'd stayed with the same crew, do you think they maybe would have stayed with I Love Lucy and gone into the 60s, maybe in the early 70s? That's a great question, Arthur. I don't know. It's all speculation on this point, so it's very valid to disagree with me. I would think no. I would think they would get to a point where they wanted to move on because think about it. The Mertzes, played by Bill Frawley and Vivian Vance, they did not want to continue. I guess after everything broke down, because remember they were given the opportunity to have their own show, and they said no. So they could have gotten money, if that makes sense. If we have the factor of money motivating them, that wasn't a thing. Now, Bill Frawley did want to continue, but Vivian Vance, no way. Now, Bill Frawley is still making money, his estate, okay? He's not alive, but his estate, who owns basically, is still getting residuals from the show. So I'm not going to say he was rich, but he definitely wasn't at the point where he thought he was going to be starving. I think he just genuinely enjoyed the show and the content. However, Vivian Vance couldn't stand him, and so she didn't continue. And so I don't know. I don't think it would have been the same. I think there would have been a breaking point with an actor at some point. That's just me. I want to know what you guys think. Robert. So Jess, Robert, Madeline gone. They weren't necessarily gone. They took it like a vacation, and then they kind of came back here and there. But they were still a presence. Thank you, Randy. I appreciate the support on the Gilligan's Island videos. If you guys are new and don't know, I make not only I Love Lucy videos, but Gilligan's Island videos. I usually do like a Saturday Lucy video. I changed it up. I put Gilligan's Island up there. And I really, really am strong with the idea of putting the content that I'm passionate about, because if not, then it kind of shines. The audience knows. I just know, because I watch YouTubers and I can see stuff where it's like, they didn't really, put up much effort. They didn't really want to do this. It was like not full effort. And so I think that's really important. And so that's why I change up my content sometimes, because it's like sometimes I need a break from certain material. Sometimes I want to change things up a little bit. So yeah. Cheryl, nice to see you on the live chat. You have, she says, a terrific knowledge of all things TV. Well, thank you. Yeah, it's all, believe me, on research and a lot of studying of it. I have books. Let me give you an idea. Here on Gilligan's Island, great book written by Russell Johnson. Again, I'm not like sponsored, so it's not like if I say, hey, buy this book or something. I'd recommend it if you're a big Gilligan's Island fan. Why? Because it was written by someone who was actually on the show. I even have Sherwood Schwartz's version inside Gilligan's Island. And then I also have Gilligan, or Bob Denver's version, Gilligan, Maynard, and me. And so, yeah, I think that's great because you get a really broad range. This one is very behind the scenes, like more how to produce the show. This is more Gilligan on his thoughts on the show, which I think were great. It's actually probably my favorite out of these three. But Russell Johnson's also great because I felt that Gilligan was, so I'm like going into books now, talking about Gilligan. But this one was very centered around him. And Russell Johnson didn't go into him as much. He had sections, but he talked about everyone, which is kind of cool. Like he really got to know the characters. You can see he was probably more introspective, but I just love the approach that he took at it. So yeah, it's just through research and stuff like that. And I have Lucy books, tons of Lucy books, obviously. Okay. Christopher, yes, Barbara Eden was on I Love Lucy in the episode The Country Dance, or The Country Club Dance. Yeah. You like the European vacation season the best. So, James, I'm assuming that you're speaking about season 5. Remember, season 5 has a few episodes in Hollywood. And obviously, they go back. So it starts with like the John Wayne episodes in Hollywood. They go back to New York. They stay for like 2 or 3 weeks or 2 or 3 episodes, and then they go to Europe. And then the last episode of the season ends with them coming back from Europe. All right, and there my chat is disappearing, and now it's back again. Okay. The Ornaz's children appeared on many different shows. That's true. Not on I Love Lucy, except the last episode, and only Desi Jr. appeared. Since when is it a grind to put ketchup on snails? What episode's that from, guys and gals? Great job. Very nice. What episode's that from? Ron English, great point. So Ron, I think this is a valid point. See, I don't know if I would have to think about it more to see if I'd agree, but I'm kind of leaning towards you. So many spin-offs became flops, and they come from successful shows, and you're absolutely right. It still happens today. Even look at Roseanne, the new Roseanne spin-off that's happening, and people saying they're going to not watch it. You're glad that Vivian Vance and Frawley walked away. Well, remember, just to make it technical, because again, this I want to make technical, Frawley was in all the way. He wanted it. Vance was no. So then it was almost like it was either both of them or nothing. So they're like, well, we won't do this kind of thing. So I guess eventually Frawley like gave in reluctantly, but he wanted to do it. Oh, there's Ethel in the horse costume. Well, thank you, Mickey. I do appreciate that you enjoy my Stooges work. I love the Stooges, and I will still be doing videos on them. It takes a little bit more time to research. A Plumbing We Will Go is coming next. It's one of the best shorts ever of all time. Most popular short of all time. And so stay tuned. It's my take on that. Ronald, honestly, I can't choose my family, and I watch all seasons and enjoy it. That shows reasons for ending. That was, let's see. Well, thank you, Christopher. And that's what I want. I want there to be that you guys can see the passion for what I do. And not that there isn't, but it's like with anything. It's like YouTube is much like food. Like you can enjoy food and burgers. But once you have a lot of burgers, you're like, okay, but I'm not against burgers, but I want to have like a salad today, or I want to have some pasta and some meatballs. I don't know. And so I like to change it up every once in a while. Also brings a new audience, new audience, different people to come in and see. I like this. Mickey just said right here in the chat that he obviously he watches like my Lucy stuff, I'm assuming, because he's on the live. But he says it invigorated him to watch a lot of the Three Stooges stuff. And I think that's great because it opens us up to a lot of different things, a lot of different types of comedy, and more joy and more enjoyment. I mean, we need that. People are like, I wish there was a good show on. Hey, a lot of these shows have been made. You just have to discover them, right? Paris at Last, The Bastille. Yep. Paris at Last. You're correct. That's the name of it. Am I Lucy, Ethel, Ricky, or Fred? Could you be more specific with the question? So I can definitely get to it. Good afternoon, Rick, Yolanda. Greetings from New Jersey. From Jersey. Nice to see you, Yolanda. You're a Lucy. You love Lucy. Awesome. But do you mean like who would I be or who would I like the most? I just want to have clearness in that. Yeah, see, Randy, you're right. He went on to My Three Sons and apparently did very, very, that was weird. It said Middle East, 68th Street Country Club or something. Country, yeah, that was just interesting. There's Ethel dressed up, getting ready. She has a big thing of flowers over here. Getting ready for the Ricardos to come out and do their little song and dance. Yes, James, every single I Love Lucy episode, 99% of everything that you saw in I Love Lucy was on the stage. It was split between two different studios that they moved halfway roughly in between the show after season 2 into season 3. But yeah, all that Europe stuff, all that John Wayne, the Connecticut episodes, even when they went to Mexico in the Lucy Desi Comedy Hour, and there's like in the border, it's a huge stage. But yeah, they did that all indoors, all the cards. Yep. Although the Lucy Desi Comedy Hour wasn't that much in front of a live audience as like I Love Lucy was, it wasn't as pure as that. But yeah, very few off locations. And whenever it was off locations, it was like for the bridge when they're crossing over New York, California, here we come. Or it would be like when Lucy got out of the car, those were elder actresses, like in Ohio, that episode, the first stop. So yeah, so for the most part, anything you see on there, even the golf game where it's like outside all the time, nope, indoors. Great question, James. That's the type of questions I love to see. Arthur, so the reason they ended Gilligan's Island was ridiculous. And I would agree with that. It was basically because the wife of the CBS executive wanted to keep Gunsmoke on. And there was only one slot, and they said, let's choose Gunsmoke over Gilligan's Island. They had episodes ready. They had signed their contracts and all that. And the exec was like, nope, we're going to nix the show. And they did. Very sad. Very sad. But we got movies, and I think we got enough. I guess I'm content with what we got. I totally would have wished we got more. But I would have wanted to see more ridiculous stuff. But then I just watched the episodes again. I get my dose, if that makes sense. Like, there's not much we can do, unfortunately. Most of them are gone. But the actors, I mean. Yeah, so very nice. Hopefully you got my explanation there of why they canceled it. I should make an episode on that. Jared, I heard that. Frasier's a really good show. And remind me, is that a spinoff of Cheers? Is it? That's what I've heard, right? I haven't really watched much of Cheers of Frasier, believe it or not. It's funny, a lot of these shows, especially in the 80s, I didn't watch that I love because I was born in the 80s. And so it was kind of hard because a lot of the 90s stuff were showing 90s, but also they were showing really old stuff. But 80s was like too new. You know what I mean? It wasn't that old to be able to show it. And so, yeah, there's a gap of years that I didn't watch certain things and never got to them. And then even in my college years, there was a lot of great shows I didn't watch. Like that 70s show, I didn't watch till like after college because I think either in high school, I was in high school and I was just booked with work. Like I can, so it's just timing for some of these shows because some people are like, why haven't you watched this? Well, obviously there are reasons. Hello, Yolanda, Eliezer, and Genesis. Nice to see you guys. Awesome to see you. Awesome. Okay. Let me see. Do a little bit of cleanup work here in the chat. Always important to do. All right. No one mentioned Hazel Pierce. Well, we definitely mentioned her in a lot of the live streams because she is an integral part. She's silent, but she speaks in one episode. And that's been like a trivia thing that we've done back and forth. Awesome. Thank you, Jared. I'm glad to get that out of the way because I wasn't sure, and I definitely don't want to give misinformation. Awesome. Which is funny because I know Cheers was always like a bar type atmosphere. And then Frasier, he's always in like his apartment, right? So I guess it's like when he goes home, that's what happens, the character. So kind of cool. On Gilligan's Island, there were some interesting cameos. Yep, Zsa Zsa Gabor, Kurt Russell, exactly. There's a good amount of them, and a lot of people don't know them. Don Rickles is in there, and we have just tons. I'm kind of drawing a blank right now. Plus, the chat disappeared, and that is the worst thing ever. I don't know why this new live chat thing hasn't been fixed. It's unfortunate. Well, guys and gals, it is time for me to go. Don't forget to look at your notifications. Take a look at my Gilligan's Island video. And again, remember, there are tons of videos on my channel. So, explore. Sometimes YouTube doesn't put out the videos. And so if you do a little bit of exploring, you might find something that may link you to another video and to another video. And so you may enjoy it. Also, my social media is all down below. My Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter, I'm forgetting one. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Yeah, sounds about right. Leslie Poole, Lucille Ball's children do make public appearances. So check those out. Thank you, guys and gals. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. I will see you guys very, very soon. Yolanda, you could look at Steam powered. Just Google Steam powered, and then it will take you to a place, Steam. It's like a thing where you can buy games there and download them. Raft is there. And again, I'm not sponsored to say that, but it's a great game. So we'll see you next time, guys and gals. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate your love and support. Hopefully this put a smile on your face. Hopefully you